Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and as usual I was scrolling it through online and I found this inspiration of this sweater that I just loved, and I was like, what Ellie and Mike pattern can I use to recreate this look? And I thought Chapman Cardigan. So this was a cute cropped sweater with bigger sleeves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Chapman Cardigan, I'm going to add buttons to it, I'm going to shorten it, and I'm going to add the cuddle up tunic bishop sleeve to it, and we're going to see how it turns out. I'm super excited. I have this cable knit fabric from Olga's Closet, and I just want to get it done. So let's get to it. The first thing I'm going to do is I grab my Chapman Cardigan. Now I'm using a size up, so I'm going up a size because I want it to be a little bit more oversized. And honestly, I did this when I did the hack of the Chapman Cardigan, and I made it into like a longer Chapman Cardigan, a duster style. And I love the way it fit. It was a little bit more oversized, but obviously if you want a tighter look, you can keep it at your size. So I'm grabbing that, and I'm also going to grab the sleeves for the cuddle tunic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut out the sleeves for the cuddle tunic, and you might want to print the same size as the size that you're doing your Chapman Cardigan at. So if you're doing a large Chapman Cardigan, you probably want a large cuddle tunic sleeve so that it will be it'll have the same oversized look to it. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Chapman Cardigan, and well, it's in two pieces right now because I had added length to it, but now we're going to actually subtract length to it. So you have to think about how much you want to subtract. And I was thinking I want to subtract about 4 inches off the bottom. I am thinking about doing, and I haven't decided yet, you all know that I like to kind of see where the movement takes me. I am thinking about, I'm gonna probably subtract 5 inches. Let's do 5 inches. I am thinking about doing a casing at the bottom where I put elastic so that the bottom is elasticated and it kind of blouses the sweater. So because I was thinking of doing that, it will be about an inch hem at the bottom where I fold up and case that elastic. So if I go 5 inches, I'm gonna actually be going up 6 inches. So it will be 6 inches shorter than what it was initially meant to be. So that's what I'm going to do with. I'm going to go with 5 inches, and I'm just going to mark my pattern. So when I go to cut, then I'll just fold it up. Now I want to do that to my front and my back. All right, so another thing I want to do is my neckband. Because I'm going to shorten the pattern, I'm also going to shorten my neckband by 5 inches. So because the neckband is doubled, there will be 5 inches on one side and 5 inches on the other side. So you really are subtracting actually 10 inches from the neckband piece. Where is my neckband? Here it is. So you're going to subtract, well, I guess you subtract 5 inches, and since it's cut on the fold, that's actually 10 inches. So I'm going to measure that and fold it so I remember to cut it correctly when I'm actually cutting. You all know I'm... Okay. I am not doing pockets on this one. I'm going to leave it be. I don't need the cuffs because I'm going to use the cuffs from the cuddle bishop sleeve. And I am not doing the bottom hem because, the bottom band, because I'm going to fold it up and encase elastic so it will be elasticated at the waist. So that's all I need to cut from this pattern. So last time I did this hack, I added extra width, 2 extra inches to the band. I wanted it to be a little bit thicker. I'm going to do that again with this one. So the length I'm subtracting the 5 inches, but for the width I'm adding 2 inches, so it'll be an inch wider each piece because you fold it in half. So I'm still going to do that. So I'm subtracting 5 inches of the front, the back, and the band, which is sewn on the fold, cut on the fold, which means I'm actually subtracting 10 inches, and I'm adding 2 inches to the width of the band. That's all I'm doing with this. And I sized up. And then I'm gonna grab the cuddle tunic bishop sleeves, and I'm going to be cutting the bishop sleeves to go into the Chapman. All right, our pattern has been cut out, and we're going to start by putting it together. So we're going to put our shoulder seams, and usually you just do your shoulder seams because your sleeves are usually put on. But in this case, we're going to put on our sleeves, we're going to inset them. So we're going to we're going to sew our shoulders right sides together and our sides right sides together as well. All right, so that will make our cardigan basically, and then we're going to grab our sleeve and prep that too, so that way we can come back and sew it on when we're done. I'm going to fold my sleeves right sides together and sew the outer edge together. And then what I want to do is, there's 2 things I want to do. Once I go to attach my sleeve to my actual cardigan, this arm side is bigger. It's going to be bigger than the hole, and that's what's supposed to be. It's what you're going to do is you're going to put in a basting stitch. So you're going to put in a long straight stitch from your sewing machine at the top of the sleeve. So there's a couple marks on the pattern from mark to mark. So you're going to put in a basting stitch. So we're going to gather this sleeve to fit into the cardigan. So if it looks too big, don't be like, oh my goodness, this is too big, it's not gonna fit. It is, we're just gonna gather it to fit on the shoulder. So we're gonna do that for both sleeves. All right, so I changed my stitch length to a 4, which is the longest stitch length I have, and I have a tail of thread at the end. And I'm just going to go along the top of the sleeve. That way I can gather it to fit. And it's not going to be a lot of gathering, it's just going to be a little bit of gathering. Just a little bit. Now while I'm here at my machine, I'm also going to gather the bottom of the sleeve. The bottom of the sleeve gets wide, but you're going to gather it so that it'll fit your cuff. That's how you're going to attach it to the cuff. Because if you'll see, the cuff is much skinnier than the sleeve. So you're going to be like, what? So you're just going to gather it to fit. Alrighty, now we're going to see right here where the arm side is. We're going to grab our sleeve and make sure that you see the shape of the sleeve. You see how this goes down like this? That is the top of the sleeve. The bottom also goes rounded, and it kind of looks like it could be your arm, it could be your shoulder, the top of your sleeve, but it's not. Just make sure that the shape of the top of the sleeve is a lot more pronounced. If you can't figure out which one is the top and which one's the bottom, I recommend you grab your pattern piece and put it on top, and you make sure before you actually go on to the next step, because it would be really upsetting to attach the sleeve upside down. Don't get me wrong, I probably have done it before. I've done everything before, but I'm just trying to tell you so that you don't end up doing it as well. So we're going to attach, first we're going to go to where that seam is at the bottom, at the armpit. So we're going to match up that seam, and we're going to go up the sides to the point where we started gathering. So we're not stretching or nothing, we're just putting them together, right sides together. And then when you get to where you're, where you started basting, we're just going to go the other way as well, because that top part we're going to gather to fit. Now you won't have to gather very much, like I said. It's just a little gather, just like very small amount of gathering that you're just gonna pull that basting stitch and gather at the top evenly. And usually I like most of my gathers to be at the top of the shoulder because I love the way that that little gather gives it a little of a poofy look right here at the top. But if you don't want that, you might want to spread the gathers all the way around the whole cap. If you don't want it to be just more gathered at the top, that really is up to you what you want to do in that situation. I do like it to be mostly the gathers mostly at the top because I just like a dramatic sleeve. And so now that you gathered it, you just gather it enough that it will fit into your arm side. And then you're touching them right sides together and you're going to sew the sleeve on. While we're there doing that, we're also going to grab our sleeve cuffs and we're gonna fold them right sides together and sew those raw edges. So we're gonna prep those cuffs as well. I'm so excited about this. It's gonna be so cute. Okay, next step will be to gather our sleeve to fit our cuff, or work on your neckband, whichever you want to do first. Now, if you, here's a little thing. I'm going to be adding buttons to this. So if you want this to be usable buttons, like you'll have to add a buttonhole and everything like that so you can unbutton them and wear it open or wear it closed, you can go ahead and put, when you grab your waistband, when you grab your neckband, I would add some interfacing to the front part of the neckband where you're going to add your buttons and your buttonholes so your buttons don't come detached by you unbuttoning, 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 unbuttoning. But I am going to do faux buttons. So I'm literally going to sew it shut. Because this is a low V, it's going to be like a V-neck sweater, and it's going to have, it's a knit fabric. It doesn't, to me, I'm making it more like an actual sweater, like a closed sweater. I'm not gonna wear it open. I don't need the buttons that open and close, open and close. Now, if I change my mind later, I can always put more put reinforcements on it, which will be a little bit harder to do, and add buttonholes. But I don't really want to add buttonholes right now, so I'm going to go with just with the look of buttons, but they're not really going to do much of anything. So that's what I'm going with. Now, if you want to add real buttons to it with buttonholes and everything, then I would recommend you use some reinforcement, adding some lightweight interfacing in there to knit interfacing to help with the buttonhole. So I'm going to find the top of my band so I know exactly what the top is. I'm going to grab my cardigan and match up the two shoulder seams, and we're gonna find the back of the cardigan. So I like to do like a little knot, so I mark where I'm going to go right there. Sometimes it's harder when you have this kind of knit because you can't really see where it's at. And then I'm gonna pin right there at the front, and then I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom of the front of the cardigan, and I'm going to pin that band all the way to that bottom piece, and I'm going to start pinning it without stretching all the way to where that star is on your pattern. There's a star, it's like right here at the chest area where it starts to turn, and then once we get to that spot, then we're going to start pulling your band, tighten it so that it will fit. So stretch it to fit, that's the word. I couldn't think of the word. Then we'll do the same to the other side. All right, and then we're gonna go attach that. While we're at it, we're gonna work on our sleeve. And what we're gonna do is what I said, we're gonna grab our sleeve. I already put in that basting stitch at the same time that I was putting the basting stitch on the shoulder. So I'm gonna grab my cuff that we already put together as well. I'm gonna fold it wrong sides together. So here's my cuff. And I'm going to mark my half on my cuff. So I've got the seam right here in the back, and then I'm gonna go to the front or the side and mark it. There it is. And then I'm gonna grab my sleeve and I'm going to pull that basting stitch and gather my sleeve the width of my cuff. So I want it to be that same width right there so it matches up. When I'm sewing it, I like to tie those two threads together because I don't want the gathers to come apart, but then I can cut it later when I'm done. Make sure the gathers are nice and even. Then I'm gonna fit my cuff right inside it and match it. I'm gonna match my seam and then just fit the cuff around it. And we're gonna do the same for the other cuff as well. Okay, so if you just want a cropped sweater, you are basically there. All you would do now is, if you want the band at the bottom, you can do the band at the bottom like it does on the Chapman cardigan. You could just go ahead and hem, fold in and hem, and you'll be a hemmed band. I mean a hemmed sweater. I want to do the elastic bottom. So I'm going to grab, I'm going to use 3/4 inch elastic, and I'm going to measure my waist, and I'm going to subtract 3 inches from it so that it actually elasticates. That means that what it's going to do is it's probably going to pull on it to open it up. So I will probably have to sew a closing stitch right here at the front so that it doesn't pull open, you know, all the time. So it's not like this, you know, hanging like this. So what I'm going to do now to create that casing is I'm going to, right here where my sweater is going to overlap, because I'm going to overlap it and add the buttons at the end right here. So right here where it's going to overlap, I'm just going to pin it together. And I'm going to create a casing that goes all the way around. Now you could create like 2 separate casings, start at the middle and do the casing and go in the front and sew the stitches together, and then it would open and close. If you're going to go that route, like if you want to do like we talked about, real buttons and be able to unbutton it and wear it open. But since I'm doing that elasticated waist and I want it closed, I'm just going to do it together. So I'm just gonna fold it right here 1 inch up and top stitch, and this is going to be one piece right here together. It's going to get top stitched closed so it doesn't pop open. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm lining them up together and I'm pinning it, and I'm going to fold it at 1 inch, and I'm going to go over there and top stitch that inch closed, and I'm going to do that for the whole, all the way around, 1 inch, basically 1 inch hem, and I'm going to leave like a 2 inch gap to fit my elastic through, sew it together, and then close that gap. Here I am using my cover stitch to hem, but if you don't have a cover stitch, really any stretch stitch on your sewing machine will be fine. I've got my elastic. Like I said, I measured my waist and I trimmed it by about 3 inches. Really, it's up to you how tight you want it or how loose you want it. And then I'm going to insert it right through that gap and fit it all the way around. Now I'm going to make sure that my elastic is not twisted, and I'm going to zigzag stitch it together and then close that gap that I left open. Friends, I am obsessing over how cute this is going to be. Now, you could right now leave it as is, like this. And if you didn't want to add any buttons or anything like that, it would be super cute too to put over like a dress or just like a lacy top or something like that. That would be super, super cute. I am going to add buttons because I want to wear it more like a top than a cardigan. So you can go and try it on and see how many buttons you want to add. I had different buttons that I don't really think I have exactly the buttons I want for it. So I've got these cream buttons that I thought maybe. Then I've got a couple of clear buttons, which I really like, but there's only 3 of them. So I know that's not enough. And I love these as well, but I don't know that I want to go that color. And then these are very dark. So I don't know that I want to go super dark either. So I don't know that I have the buttons that I want to use for this. I'm kind of thinking I want to go with like the clear buttons so you can't really see the buttons. But I don't know if instead I want to go with like some big bulky buttons. So since I don't have those buttons, I'm going to have to wait on that. But I will tell you this, I'm going to pin it together and show you just exactly what it looks like. Well, that's broken. And then I'm going to try to find some buttons. I guess I didn't even have to tell you all this because I could have just gone and bought some buttons and then put them on and then showed you afterwards and you would be none the wiser. But you know, I'm honest with you and I'm going to tell you. But I'm going to come back and hopefully show them to you once they're sewn. But I just wanted to, you know, while I'm here, while I'm thinking of it, I just wanted to encourage you because this is what I love about sewing. Look at, like, this is the Chapman cardigan. Like, it doesn't even look like the Chapman cardigan anymore. And it really wasn't even that hard. I mean, it wasn't even that complicated. You could totally do this. You could totally do anything you want to do when it comes to sewing. And so I just want to be here an encouragement to you and let you know you can do it. Don't be scared. Go out there and do it. Mash all the patterns. Do all the hacks. Let me know what you want to see. If you want me to do a hack and you say, I love this pattern, I don't know how I would hack it. I mean, I love this picture, I don't know which patterns to hack. Come to our Facebook page, Ellie and Mac's Facebook page, and post it on there and ask for advice. And not only that, you can tag me under and I will be happy to come and check it out and even do a video over it if it's necessary, or just help you and give you some tips and some pointers on how to do it. So I'm just telling you that anything is possible. This is why I love sewing. All right, friends, we are done with this super cute hack. I love how it turned out. I love that it's oversized. I love the oversized sleeves, the band, the buttons. Actually, I think they go really, really great with this. I just love it. I just love being able to find something online and recreate it with my beautiful Ellie and Mac patterns and for a fraction of the cost. So I hope this is inspiration for you to go out there and look for what you want to make and think outside the box when it comes to patterns. Don't just follow the same patterns over and over again if you don't feel like it. If you want to make something different, you can grab Ellie and Mac patterns and create your own design. Whatever is in your mind that you're thinking of, just explore it, just do it. I know you can do it. And if you need any help, come to our Facebook page where we have beautiful sewists who are always willing to help out and give you tips and tricks. Just remember, inspiration is out there, and that's all I'm here to do, inspire you to sew the beautiful things that you want to create. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss any of our other sewing tutorials. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!